Restoration of Independence celebrated in Dili. Outside revealed greatest unrest updates after meeting with the Prime Minister. Joint Task Force cracks down on traffic violations. Welcome back to RTTL World News. I'm Zeri Madeira. Yesterday, Timor-Leste marked 24 years since the restoration of independence, honoring the day with official ceremonies and celebration. President José Ramos Horta addressed the nation during the official ceremony, acknowledging the young country's accomplishments and the challenges ahead.
A military parade celebrating 24 years of independence. The president chose to pay his highest respect directly to the rightful owners of the country's sovereignty, its people, before proceeding to salute the troops. The flag was flown as citizens sang Timor-Leste's anthem with national pride on display.
Congratulations to all the people of Timor-Leste on celebrating 24 years of independence. I hope the government can ensure stability and peace so that the process of building and liberating the people can continue.
I asked leaders to respect this historic day. Don't be angry with each other.
This country has become a teenager, so I want things to go better, and today is a special day, and I hope they will listen to our voices.
Veteran Arnaldo Ximenez never misses the important occasion.
I used to be a soldier and we marched here, but now I am disabled and in a wheelchair, but every May 20th I have to come and participate.
While the younger generation cherishes their involvement, eager to continue the mission of their predecessors.
During training, we were punished, slept, but we felt very happy. The flag could be raised well.
24 years into Timor-Leste's journey, President Ramos Horta expressed pride in the country's multilateralism.
International relations, we brought the country out of isolation, re-established strategic connection, carried out our flag to vital partners in ASEAN, CPLP, the Pacific Island Forum, the G7 Group, United Nations, rich nations from Australia, China, United States to India.
In terms of international participation, we are making our presence felt in a significant way, but we also have to recognize that there are still many challenges ahead.
Despite a tragic and traumatic history, Timor-Leste's rapid commitment to reconciliation has become a model in the region.
And very happy to see Timor in this situation. I also work in this field of peace and conflict and justice. And right now I'm working a lot in Myanmar, in Burma, where the situation is terrible. And it's like Timor was in the 1980s. So Timor is an example for Burma and other countries that if we keep working on human rights, we keep working on justice, we can achieve democracy.
Looking forward, the president confirmed the nation's direction and dedication to onshore resource processing.
And the significant and yet still underexploited economic potential. The deepening of this cooperation will generate benefits for our peoples, particularly those at the border area with NTT. Timor-Leste-Indonesia relations have recorded steady progress in strategic areas, with advances in maritime and land border negotiations, trade and investment, education, technical training.
With peace as its foundation, he says economic transformation is Timor-Leste's next challenge. Our young nation has achieved a lot in its 24 years of independence and continues to achieve above expectation on the global stage. While many challenges remain, May 20 marks a day of reflection recognition, and national celebration. Jagadesh, Judas Magno, RTTL, World News.
A meeting was held this week between Woodside Energy representatives and Prime Minister Sanana Gusmao to shed light on developments regarding the Greater Sunrise project. It comes following the signing of a cooperation agreement between the Australian energy giant and the Timorese government late last year to carry out more studies on a Timor-based liquefied natural gas project.
A small step taken towards unlocking the long-awaited Greater Sunrise project and its promised billions for Timor-Leste's economy. On Monday, the Woodside top officials met with Prime Minister Sanana Gusmao in Dili to discuss the negotiation progress.
We discussed the recent progress on Greater Sunrise since the signing of the cooperation agreement late last year, and the Prime Minister spoke with us about the importance of progressing Greater Sunrise in a timely way.
Ms. Fallon said progress has been made. However, she says there are a lot of details that need to be worked through.
I believe tenders are being developed for surveys and similar that need to be done. In terms of the negotiations under the Maritime Boundary Treaty, then those have been progressing well, and all parties are leaning in to try and bring those to a conclusion as early as possible.
The Greater Sunrise Oil and Gas Project will provide job opportunities for young people and comes with a promise of $50 billion for Timor-Leste's economy. An independent concept study on the Greater Sunrise Oil and Gas Fields development confirmed the viability of an LNG plant on Timor-Leste's shores.
That study identified that all concepts could be feasible, that there were certain risks with each of them that needed some more work to determine the best path forward, and the Timor LNG opportunity was the one that we've been really working hard on during the time since.
The Australian government's envoy for the Greater Sunrise Project, Katrina Cooper, visited Dili last month to monitor and deepen project development discussions with the government. At the time, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Francisco da Costa said negotiations between the two countries had finalized a petroleum mining code document.
We've agreed on one of the main legal frameworks, and we will focus on the other two, production sharing contract and fiscal regime.
Under Timor-Leste and Australia's Maritime Boundary Treaty, the young nation will receive a 70% revenue split if the gas is piped locally, or 80% if it goes to Australia. Pauline Quintown, Domingos de Deus, RTTL World News.
Traffic incidents are increasing across Delhi, with over 400 accidents and 11 deaths recorded in the last 4 months. Recently, a joint team of police and Delhi's transport department hit Delhi's streets to raise awareness among pedestrians and drivers on the proper use of newly installed traffic lights and bus stops. The government confirmed its commitment to upgrading infrastructure and strictly enforcing fines on traffic violators.
Government officials are in the streets on a mission to make Delhi's roads safer. The team is engaging with drivers and commuters, pushing for better use of bus stops and traffic signs.
Our joint teams are doing public awareness on the streets for drivers and commuters so that they know how to use the bus stops.
As part of the campaign, officials fined private drivers for blocking bus stops and public transport operators for failing to pull into designated areas.
This car clearly committed a violation, so we took its plates off, and the owner needs to pay a fine of $45. All private vehicles which stop at bus stops will be fined.
Dili Traffic Commander Afonso da Silva says officers are deployed at 23 major bottlenecks across the capital, stepping into direct traffic where lights are broken.
Traffic jams are getting worse in Dili, and there is a growing number of traffic accidents. In 2024, there were 1,200 cases, and in 2025, 1,300 cases.
In the last 4 months alone, 400 traffic accidents were registered, leaving 11 people dead.
We continue working in collaboration with the Transport Department to educate people so they know and follow the rules so that we can reduce accidents.
Pedestrians told RTTL World News that crossing Dili's busy roads has become a daily gamble.
When we cross the road at the zebra crossing, we often need to put our hands up to stop the traffic because there is no pedestrian light, and many of the drivers do not respect the zebra crossing and often drive very fast.
The National Directorate for Land Transport says they will install 6 new bus stops and 4 new sets of traffic lights across the capital this year. Until those upgrades arrive, authorities are urging drivers of private and public transports to respect the rules of the road. Pauline Quintaun, Jegeres, RTTL World News.
Timor-Leste's permanent representative to the United Nations plays a key role in advancing the country's interests on the global stage. Ambassador Dionisio Babo Suarez spoke with RTTL World News from Finland, reflecting on how he represents the voices of Timorese people at the United Nations and the major challenges facing both the UN and global stability. Ambassador, what is the role of the permanent representative of Timor-Leste to the United Nations?
My job is to defend the national interests of Timor-Leste, shaping external relations, and at the same time, negotiating mandates across the UN system, particularly on 3 pillars: peace, security, human rights, and development.
How do you ensure you accurately represent the people of Timor-Leste to the UN and the concerns of ordinary Timorese?
Well, I start from the national interest as defined by our constitution, and as defined by our government programs and foreign policy. And then anchor it in the international rules-based order and multilateralism. I normally listen carefully to concerns from Guinea, and of course, the municipalities to engage with the civil society and the diaspora and translate those everyday realities into concrete positions on SDGs, human rights, climate, and of course, peace building at the United Nations.
What have you achieved for Timor-Leste since your appointment to the UN in 2023?
Well, since a few years ago, we have reactivated and strengthened key diplomatic channels to reposition Timor-Leste in United Nations debates. And most importantly, to advance the interest was our country, particularly on issues of sustainable development goals, and also, working in terms of the graduating from the LDC position that we are now. We have participated actively in the 6 main committee of the United Nations. We clarified our international political agenda, and also made Timor-Leste more visible, more credible, as a constructive and, principled partner of the United Nations and the international community.
In September, you said the world seems to be willingly walking toward self-destruction. What challenges do you see as most pressure for the UN and for Timor-Leste?
Well, let us be truthful that global politics is under under intense strains. Wars, climate and disease, inequality, and mistrust in suspicion are so great at the moment that this does not make self-destruction inevitable. As a country, as a member of the United States, we've been participating actively in trying to actually raise our concerns, our situation on the ground, and making sure that actually we are up on the agenda of the United Nations and making our views heard. But the country nations have to make sure that we cannot drag ourselves into self-destruction, but we need to actually work hard to police the economic living standards, particularly in the least developed countries. And Timor-Leste is one of the least developed countries.
What challenges does the UN face regarding the geopolitics in the Middle East?
Well, in the Middle East, the UN confronts deep-rooted, as you know, in the Middle East, the UN confronts deep-rooted conflicts, competing narrative, and great power rivalries that will name it its level for need. But, we still have hope because the matter actually is back in the agenda, the United Nations agenda, both at the General Assembly and also at the UN Security Council. The issue is not the UN itself, but the issue is the Middle East. They are the ones, particularly state members, have the courage to find a way, to end the conflict.
Thank you, Ambassador, for talking with us. In international news, the Northern Territory's diphtheria outbreak is now one of the worst in Australia's history after spreading across its borders to Western Australia, Queensland, and South Australia. The Central Australian Aboriginal Congress Health Service is visiting local Aboriginal town camps to help bring up vaccination levels in Central Australia.
Diphtheria is back. The highly contagious and once nearly eradicated disease now spreading across the country, particularly in First Nations communities.
It is everywhere. Everyone living in every community needs to be getting vaccinated, getting boosters.
I need linen rail. I'm mad about it. Ningora kung no jawl. Make your need linen rail. Ingarel, marban.
Locally, efforts intensify to get people vaxxed. A pop-up vaccination clinic at Larapinta Valley Town Camp in Alice Springs today, as authorities race to vaccinate or boost up to 9,000 people in Central Australia.
People get vaccinated all over the world for various different things, and it's good that Tangier and Congress have worked together to make sure that everyone in the town camps can get vaccinated and stay safe.
The disease that affects the nose, throat, airways or skin on the rise. There have been 133 reported cases in the Northern Territory so far, including one likely death, along with 79 cases in Western Australia, 6 cases in South Australia and up to 5 cases in Queensland. The federal government worried.
We're very concerned about this. This is probably the biggest diphtheria outbreak we've seen, certainly for decades. I was up in Alice Springs a couple of weeks ago meeting with the Aboriginal Medical Service for the Northern Territory. They're obviously deeply, deeply concerned. Almost all of the cases are Indigenous Australians.
Workforce shortages a barrier.
So we're going into this outbreak on the background of a very diminished workforce in the first place, which makes it even more difficult to redeploy staff to deal with something like this.
Authorities increasingly anxious to stop the spread.
And now the weather, starting with Dili. Overcast with a couple of thunderstorms expected, a top temperature of 31 and a low of 24 degrees. In Bocao, mostly cloudy with showers increasing in the afternoon. Temperatures ranging between 28 and 22 degrees. In Loten, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers, a high of 28 and a low of 23 degrees. In Aileu, mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures ranging between 25 and 16. Now looking abroad. In Kupang, partly sunny and humid with a couple of morning thunderstorms, a high of 32 and a low of 25. Mostly cloudy and humid in Bali with a scattered afternoon thunderstorms. Temperatures ranging between 31 and 25. In Jakarta, considerable cloud with a scattered showers in the afternoon, a top of 32 and a low of 24. Mostly sunny and warming up in Seoul, a high of 27 and a low of 14 degrees. Mostly sunny in Darwin, temperatures ranging between 32 and 23 degrees. In Sydney, partly cloudy and breezy with a couple of showers, a high of 19 and a low of 16 degrees. Very warm with plenty of sunshine in Lisbon, with temperatures ranging between 31 and 17. Sunny and warm in London, a top temperature of 27 and a low of 16. An occasional morning rain in Belfast, otherwise cloudy, a high of 21 and a low of 11. Thanks for joining us again on the program. RTTL World News will be back with more stories on Sunday. Bye for now.